You pay off your home, you celebrate freedom, only to realize that someone could steal your house using a quitclaim deed? Well, after my last video, where I show you how to set up alerts to ensure this does not happen to you, the question came up. Do people actually do this? So I found the real names, real court records, and the real sentences from the criminals who got caught stealing homes. This video is meant to give you real examples, not to scare you, and in the video I'll share with you the real statistics so you understand who is most at target for deed theft, otherwise known as title theft. This first one surprised me more than any simply because he's not hiding from the cameras. He's actually giving interviews on how easy this is to do. His name is Matthew Cox, and he spent over a decade in federal prison. Before that, he was on the FBI's most wanted list, not for drugs or violence, but for title fraud. He told a Tampa news station he was responsible for, get ready for it, $15 million in fraudulent property deals. In about a month stretch, he borrowed $1.3 million against 2 houses using forged paperwork. And here's the part that should bother you more than the dollar figure. When the news asked him how hard it was, he said it straight, quote, "It's just paperwork. If you can fill out paperwork, you can do this." That's not a criminal mastermind describing some genius scheme. That's a guy telling a reporter the system isn't checking. Most people were asking me, how is this even possible to steal a house if it requires money to get the house in the first place? Well, we're not talking about a typical warranty deed in these cases. These criminals are using something called a quitclaim deed. Typically, in a good fashion, a quitclaim deed is used when you want to easily transfer a home to another family member. It's meant to make things easy for people who aren't selling a home. But what about a notary? Well, wouldn't you need a notary in order for this quitclaim deed to go through? Well, these criminals we are reviewing today, at least the ones that got caught, went as far as to forge the notary stamps as well. But this next example is a bit more concerning because it targets one of the most targeted groups in America, the elderly. Joseph Goodnough, or Goodnough, what an interesting last name, despite what he did. He tricked a homeowner named David White into signing over his house in Cobleskill, New York. Surveillance footage actually shows 2 of them at the bank signing the documents. True manipulation of a homeowner, and this guy didn't even have to steal identities and forge signatures. Goodnough never paid him a cent for the property, and when White wouldn't leave, Goodnough turned off the power and the water to force him out. How was he able to do this? Simply, he said, "Hey, my name is on the deed now. I have rights to do whatever I want to the property." Then, according to the court records, he called in a fake medical emergency, surprisingly got White taken away in an ambulance, and used that window to try to take the house completely over. Now, if this sounds insane to you, what I'll do is link the full video on this particular case in the description below. You can watch right after this. It's a very surprising story. And a civil judge awarded White $1.2 million, calling Goodnough's actions wanton dishonesty. And here's the number that's going to frustrate you, though. The actual criminal sentence, $20,000 in restitution, and get ready for this, 12 weekends in jail. Not weekdays, not a whole entire week, 12 weekends in jail. That was the sentence. I'm not telling you this to make you angrier at a system, although I can get if you are. I'm telling you because it matters for what you do next. The law being on your side eventually doesn't mean the process punishes these people the way that you probably would want them to. Let me know what you think in the comments. Prevention is still doing more work than prosecution ever will, and that's why prevention is so important. Not every story, though, ends in a loss. This one is worth knowing because it shows the system actually working once. His name is William Flanagan, owned a vacant piece of land in Orange County, Florida. Vacant lands and vacant homes are one of the top targets for deed theft. He got a call from the county comptroller's office telling him his land had just sold for $27,000. Well, he hadn't sold anything. What was this all about? The deed showed the property transferred to a man named Jared Long. You might think, okay, there's the criminal. Let's go after this Jared Long. But a local realtor found the listing online, reached out to the seller, and something fell off right away. The price was well under market value. Before agreeing to anything, the realtor stopped and dug deeper. Turns out that the real Jared Long had never heard of this property or of Flanagan. Someone had actually stolen Jared Long's identity too and put his name on the forged deed without his knowledge. Two separate people victimized by the same forged document. And that's the other issue with these criminals. They actually hide behind either stolen identities of other people or they get fake companies when they steal the deeds. Luckily for this case, the sale never closed. The realtor's instinct and the county's free property alert system caught it in time. And this is the exact tool that I told you to set up in the last video. I'll link it down below if you haven't seen it. It's the reason this story has a different ending than the last two. If you're in real estate or personal finance content at all, you're probably going to know this next one. David Greene, longtime host of the BiggerPockets podcast, one of the most recognizable voices in real estate investing. He actually has an Instagram video. I'll link it also in the description. You got to check it out. I mean, get ready for this one. He had title stolen on 50 of his rental properties. Yes, this obviously is a real estate guy, but also in the third top risk of deed theft is rental properties. David actually walked through how it worked on a podcast afterward, and it lines up with almost everything that we covered in the comments on the last video. According to his account, criminals discovered his LLC information via public records and exploited a loophole in a state database website to add themselves legally to his corporate entity. Using his entity, they forged notary signatures to transfer the titles of his properties over to an LLC controlled by the fraudsters. Their plan is to act as rogue wholesalers, selling properties cheaply to unsuspecting buyers at local real estate meetups. Once it's recorded, the county's position is simple, even though I don't think it's right. Well, it's recorded, so as far as they're concerned, it's done. So David said he went to the tax assessor's office to explain it was stolen and was told flatly that it did not matter. If it's recorded in somebody else's name, it's theirs on paper. Getting it back took real time. Law enforcement was slow to act. Tenants started getting confused about who to even pay rent to. He even ran into complications with 1031 exchange rules while trying to sort out the entire mess. We're talking about 50 properties. One of the most respected names in the industry still took real time, money, and a genuine fight to undo. Every case you just heard had one thing in common: speed mattered more than anything else. So if you ever get that alert, here's exactly what you want to do. You're sitting at home and all of a sudden you get an email or a text and it says, your title has been transferred. Oh my goodness. Well, first, get a certified copy of the recorded document from your county recorder immediately, so you know exactly what was filed and by whom. 2, file a police report right away. This is a criminal act. It is not just a paperwork dispute. 3, call the county recorder's office and ask them to flag your property by address for extra scrutiny on any future filings. They can't undo what's already recorded, but they can help going forward. 4, contact a real estate attorney fast. This is who actually files the quiet title lawsuit that gets a judge to formally void the fraudulent deed. Even though it was still illegal, you have to do that quiet title lawsuit. It's vital. 5, if you have owner's title insurance, notify them immediately. Some policies do cover the legal costs for this situation, not all-encompassing. 6, place a fraud alert with all 3 credit bureaus. Since this kind of fraud is frequently paired with broader identity theft, it's critical to freeze and stop all 3 of the credit reporting agencies. None of these people, from Flanagan, David Greene, David White, got their outcome by being lucky. They got it by moving fast the moment something looked off. Now, the big question is, how likely is this going to actually happen to my house? Well, this is where I want to reassure people, because this isn't about scaring you to not be able to sleep well at night. We all want to sleep well at night. This is more about making sure that you feel good about understanding the prevention. If you live in your house, typically, you're not a huge target. Keep in mind who they go after. The easy wins with massive equity. Paid off homes, rental properties, vacant properties, the elderly. Not somebody in their 40s who owns the home, who lives in the home, and who is signed up for the free alerts and all that other stuff. That's a little bit more friction for them, and they have a better chance of getting caught. But remember, there is a free way that most counties offer, and I explain it all in the video that's linked up right here. You got to watch it next. And see more of my mortgage freedom journey right down here. Keep building your money, and we'll see you on the next video.